folks. We are at Infest 2023 and I'm joined by Goteki, who've just come off the stage.
I like it spooky. Stay with me forever and ever. Don't shake out, rain digger, go figure. Night lover, no other. Stay with me forever and ever.
So guys, thank you very much for joining me.
You're welcome.
Please introduce yourselves and what music you kind of play.
So yeah, we're Goteki, like you said, we literally just came off stage, so apologies for being sweaty and weird. I'm Ross, known as Sneaky in the early days, but I just go by the name Ross Tregenza now, and this is Ali.
Ali, I go by the name Ali. I play bass, that's it.
Yeah, I write the studio songs and play synth and sing live. Ali plays the bass, occasionally some synths as well.
Fantastic. Right, so we're doing something a bit different this year. I have had a selection of questions that the bands would like to be asked before we start, and then we've got a selection of silly and serious in a countdown style. So, the ones that you've asked me to ask you, firstly, is what are you working on at the moment, and what plans do you have?
There's a fifth, it's taken me 20 years to write 5 Goteki albums, which is quite a shockingly slow pace. There is a fifth one in production, but I've been working on the soundtrack and the sound design for the game The Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the last 3 years, and it's become very intense over the we've released it last week. So it's a very different experience, but it's got a lot of attention, and it's kind of good for Goteki being connected to that. So there's still additional work to be done there. And then when that sort of chills, we're going back to the 5th Goteki album. This one in particular, Ali's going to help out with a lot more. I tended to be a bit of a little auteur is probably a nice word for it. I think there's a lot of worse words you can have for it, but I really want it to be more of a collaboration. And him and his partner Alice have a band, and they've been sort of doing a lot of work on that. So because of that, he's sort of grown musically in the last few years anyway, so yeah, album 5 will be both of us.
Looking forward to it. Right. Next one is, what moment made you realise you wanted to make music, or this music, and what were your first steps?
What were yours?
Well, I mean, I DJ a lot, and then I think you asked me to join a band. I thought, why not? I was drunk, young, foolish. I started in my early teens. You could get programs where you could strip the music out of really, really old video games and like repurpose it to try and make music. And I realized I really enjoyed that immediately. But doing a band I was writing music, but it didn't occur to me to do a band until just like more active in the goth scene in the early and mid 90s and stuff. And I was just it looked like so much fun, and I just wanted to get involved, and it sort of escalated from there.
All right, fantastic. And how different is your music now from when you first started?
It's different. It's because I've just this last month I've rewritten Bone Shaker, which was the first big song I did for my previous band, Sneaky Bat Machine. And it was a very eye-opening experience, because I've been doing music for 25 years now. I know a lot of stuff, obviously, but that first stuff I did was a lot kind of freer and more like open-minded, because I didn't understand the rules of music at all. So I think I'm very proud of my modern music, but I'm more constrained now by like, you know, chord progressions and structures and scales and things that I can't stop myself thinking about. Whereas in the old days, I would just have a few beers and boop, 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 a song about bats. There we go, and I'd be happy with it.
Not as simple anymore.
That's what I'm doing now.
So I think there's a lot to be learned from that, like not to forget the joy of it and just keep it open-minded and don't let the rules get in the way of stuff, surely. So going to try and reincorporate that in the next album.
Fantastic. Okay. So now, 7 more questions.
Here we go.
If you would please select a selection of silly or serious.
I want silly.
First choice.
Silly.
Silly. Fantastic.
Serious.
Serious, I guess.
Silly.
Copycat. Silly, go on.
Serious.
And one more.
Serious.
Okay, perfect. So I'll go with a silly first. So, which fictional character would you like to be for the day?
I'm going to go for Ed 209 from RoboCop. He was just a free spirit. He just shot people with his great big machine gun arms and just lived his best life.
Yeah, I love the visuals of Ed 209 on there as well.
I think that's right. In my mind. I've got him on my arm here as well somewhere. There he is.
Oh, fantastic.
What about you?
Don't know.
RoboCop?
Yeah, I can shoot you.
Push me down some stairs.
Yeah, twice. Yeah, I go Robocop, I think. Yeah, Optimus Prime maybe. I've grown up on
Prime.
Transformers, so I love. Yeah.
He really loves Transformers.
I feel better now.
Too serious. So, what was the most memorable or fun night that you've had performing on a tour, and why?
You got more than me.
It's a difficult question. It's a lot of gigs. This tonight was very special because we've slowed down the pace a lot, and like I said, because of like the game composing stuff I do, the output for Goteki is dramatically reduced just because it just has to be. So I can't expect people to follow it with the intensity they did when we were doing 30 gigs a year and things like that. So having an audience tonight that I could see they knew the words and they were enjoying it, and being able to perform all those songs that we love so much of them was phenomenal. It was actually, I had a wobbly lip twice during that. I thought I was actually going to cry at one
You
point.
certainly did seem to have a nice little fan base.
Yeah, it was fantastic. There was. I played in the band Visage for like 8 years with Steve Strange, and that was a very different experience because they were much bigger gigs, much different energy. And we did 2 with him that was like 20,000 people, and it was just it was terrifying, but it's a memory that will live with me for sure. So I think those crazy, giant, terrifying ones, and this one tonight, honestly, I think are my favourites.
But tonight, but I like the comedy ones as well. We've had some really, that's just ridiculous gigs, and
Yeah, like the ones where everything goes horribly wrong, but the audience are on your side,
Yeah.
and you kind of recover. They can be pretty endearing as well.
Yes, certainly. Okay. Right, another serious one, I think. So, which album or live performance changed your life? Why and how? Not necessarily yours, can be any album also.
It's difficult.
Yeah. Anything by Bowie straight away.
Yeah, I was going for that.
Yeah.
I read an interview with Trent Reznor in the Guitar magazine when I was about 15, and he mentioned David Bowie, and I'd kind of heard the name, but I didn't really know who it was. And I remembered my parents had a cassette in the front room, so I went running out, David Bowie, took the cassette, put it in my tape player, heard Space Oddity, yes, I love David Bowie, and that sentiment hasn't changed a single second in my whole life. He's been the guiding musical influence through everything I've done. There have been others, but it's always Bowie as a #1 thing.
Yeah, okay. Same for yourself, yeah?
Possibly the first Suede album, because that was the first album I got. They were the first band I got into myself. So like all my early days with my brother giving me music, whereas Suede was like it's a band I discovered myself and I really like, I'm really obsessed by. Yeah, and Sky was scored to go by the second album.
Fantastic. Alright, so another silly question. So, if you could time travel to any historical event to silently observe, what would it be and why?
Tricky one.
Berlin, the early 80s. Because that was kind of a crazy, weird time. Like East Berlin, and West Berlin as well. I think there's a real kind of tension in the air, but there's also kind of, it looked really like imaginative and people were being really
Clever
Yeah,
about the way they
it's a-
communicated.
yeah.
Yeah.
Powerful sense of
there was-
creativity, I guess,
Yeah, yeah.
wasn't there?
I think people felt really like the world could end any time now. War could happen, but they were just like partying, and I mean, obviously there was a dark side of it as well, but
I'm going with his answer as well. I want to go in the same time machine and we can go together. we'll save money.
it's true.
It's
like-
perfect
like
for
a-
nightlife. Nice. Alright. So, serious one. If you could have any ideal sellout tour, which country would you like that to be and why?
It's difficult. Our two primary audience bases have always been the UK and the States. Not so much in Europe. I never know why. I've just seen over the years. I've watched the numbers and things. But we always had a really good sort of core fan base in Japan as well. And I went over about 20 years ago and got to meet him, DJ'd and stuff, and it was so exciting. I'd love to just do like a full Japanese tour and really like push that Japanese angle, because it was so much fun.
Yeah, I've never been, so yeah, I'll go to Japan.
We'll share again.
Hey.
We're just going on holidays together.
I mean, what alternative person doesn't like Japan?
Yeah.
Alright, so another serious one, and then we'll end on a silly. So, if you could play the best performance of your life, but only to one person, who would that be and why?
Difficult. Want to say Bowie again, but
Yeah.
that'd be awkward as well.
I don't think I'd want to do that. I think I like playing to people. I never mind if the crowd's huge or small. Like, I know it's a cliche, but we always try and make sure that we're performing our best for one person or 1,000 people. But I'm just not really about impressing people or.
That's lucky.
But I think I think anyone, like if it's one person or 1,000 people, it means the same to me. I just like seeing people enjoying it, just seeing happiness in their faces like we saw tonight.
So it doesn't matter who it is as long as they're happy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'd feel too self-conscious one person. I'd be like, oh, go in.
Oh, I'm not saying you just turn up and there's one person that's bought it.
Oh no, that has happened. There's been times, don't you worry.
That's it. Alright, we'll end on a silly of, if you were a character in a game or film, what abilities or powers would you have?
I don't get hangovers.
No hangovers is a good one.
It's still quite shallow now. Could save the world, or you know.
I do get hangovers, but I'm fiercely creative while massively hungover. So I think my superpower is writing music while hungover. I've written most of my best songs with a horrific hangover for some reason. So between us, we have different hangover-based superpowers. So again, let's team up, shall we? Who's being the psychic? Bagsy, not me.
We form one adult.
I don't know.
Perfect. And then the last question that I have for you both, of course, is: do you have anything you would like to say to your fans?
Yeah, just first of all, to everyone that saw us tonight at Infest, honestly, I'm not joking about how emotional it was. It was phenomenal. So thank you for all that attended, and thank you for just our long-term fans. We've been around for a very long time, and you're still engaging all the time on our social media and stuff. And if we chat, you reply. So just thank you for everything. Like, we love you guys.
Right. Thank you for watching, and do the buttons. Thanks.